to write a book. Okay, so I'm in the Pomodoro method of editing my third book. So I thought, okay, let's talk about how to write a book because I've done it. I've done it 3 times now. And Pomodoro method of editing is basically, Pomodoro is a method of studying, which is 45 minutes on, 15 minutes off. So in my 15-minute break, I'm going to talk to you guys. Okay, very exciting. So, how to write a book. All the things I wish I would have known. I have never done traditional publishing. I have no patience. I have the patience to work on the same book for a year. I do not have the patience to write query letters, to get a literary agent, and I wish I was someone who had the patience for that. I just don't. And I'm not gonna force myself into something I don't love and I don't like to do, and it's so time consuming, and yeah. So I didn't do traditional publishing. So this is just from my point of view. I've lived 20-something years having published 0 books, and then I lived 1 year having published 3 books. So it is not about the years you lived, it is about what you do with the years, obviously. But so number 1 tip, which I wish I would have taken, if you're gonna invest your money in anything, it should be an editor. It should be an editor. Covers can change. There's like new covers of old classic books that come out all the time. There's painted covers by really creative artists. There's the covers that have like the gold on the side, like the paper looks golden on the side of the book. You know what I mean? Covers can change. Covers get to change, and I actually think it's really cool when covers of books change. They also are different covers of books in different countries if you do traditional publishing. And that's not to say the cover of the book is not important. I deeply believe the cover of the book is very important, and the only place you should not judge a book by its cover is in actual life, because actual books need to be judged by their covers. They're picked on purpose. But if I was to say, where do you want to invest? Editor. I have dyslexia, so I need an editor for grammar. I love writing how I write. That doesn't mean I'm the best writer in the world. I don't need to be. I love writing. I love doing this. I am not in competition with anybody else because I love it. And it's the same way people who are in love are not like, am I loving better than this person? Like that would be crazy. Are we more in love than this couple? That's insane. And that's an odd way to approach it. And that's the way I feel about art and writing. And so, invest in an editor. Grammar. Even if you don't have dyslexia, nobody's grammar is 100% perfect all the time, especially if you have these downloads or these moments of like pure consciousness, writing, typing down. There is a very high likelihood that you're going to have some grammar mistakes. Also, understand what you like, what you don't like, what you need, what you don't need. I only want grammar editing. I don't want any other editing, especially 100,000 in my poetry, but also in my fiction, because I got to write the first 2 poetry books and then I really fell in love with my own voice. That sounds weird, but fell in love with the way I write. Not because, and this is what I wish to pass on to you mentally. You do not have to believe you're the best thing since sliced bread. You do not have to believe you're like the best writer of all time. A, how do you even measure that? And B, it's kind of not important at all. You just have to like it. You just have to be honest. And the reason I like my writing is because it's honest. It's not perfect. It's not perfectly polished. It's not always politically correct, but it's honest. It's how I feel, it's how I view the world, it's how I want the characters to be portrayed. Of course, I'm not every single character, so like, but within the realm of how I want to write, it is how I am. In how I want to say, how I would describe somebody else. If I was talking to a friend, I would describe them like that, maybe not that fanciful. My friends would get so annoyed. They're like, this is the 10th metaphor, can you get to the point? But all of that to say, you need to know that you like your own voice. You cannot pretend. You cannot pretend you're someone you're not. People can tell. I mean, the authenticity police is a huge thing at the moment. A huge thing. Where people are like, they're pretending, the performative this, the performative that. What is at the root of that is a lack of authenticity. Whether that is even true or not. But usually people can catch on. People are like, that's not really you. That's not what they really mean. That's not really... You're like, well, this is not a lot of technical stuff. We'll get into technical stuff in a second. I just wanted to say that first. You also don't need a mission. Counterintuitive, huh? You don't need a mission for a book. If it's fiction, you can just want to describe and color the world of the thing you're explaining. If it's poetry, you can just want to write it down. I never have so far had a title before I have the book. I usually have the book and then I have the title and then I have the way I explain it. Now you don't have to do it the way I do it. There are no like hard and fast rules. But if you are someone who's like, what's my mission? What part of the world am I trying to save? That's what a pressure to put on art. You're probably already very critical if you really like art. And now you're gonna add that pressure. I would say please don't. Please don't add that pressure to yourself. It's not doing anybody some good. Just write. You can add the meaning later. You can add the explanation later. You can see what purpose it can serve later. This is the equivalent of, I give a lot of metaphors, okay? This is the equivalent of having a kid, and while you're pregnant or while you're expecting or whatever, you're like, so what is the mission of the kid? What is the kid going to be? Is it going to be a lawyer that saves the world? Is it going to be a da-da-da that does this? You'd be insane. You'd be insane. And some people do this, but some people are insane. And sometimes everyone is insane. That's not the point. But that would be insane. That would be an insane approach to having a child. To have the child be born and be like, okay, well, what law school are you going to? The child be like, goo gaga? Like, what? And that's the same with art. You just have to give birth to the art, and then it can study and it can go to university and blah, blah, blah. And then you can find the meaning, find the purpose, find where you put it. If you start a project with the intention of changing the world, that very rarely goes anywhere, because it doesn't come from an emotion. It doesn't come from like deep within you. It comes from like external. Trying to change the world is very external based, and good art 99% of the time is internal based. It is the honesty of the internal that changes the external. It's not the other way around. Now let's get into the technical, so I can send you off with the technical stuff. So getting an editor was the first thing. The other things would be patience, looking into marketing a little bit. I hate marketing. I hate marketing. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I think advertising is interesting, and people who are good at advertisements and make advertisements really interesting are great. I've cried at multiple advertisements because they were done so well. Do I know what they were trying to sell? No, but I cried. But I hate it. But you have to kind of get into it, and this is what I would say about the book. You should advertise the book as authentically as you can. How do you authentically advertise a book as a writer? By doing what you want to do. I like doing personalized poems about people's profile picture. I like doing this. I like doing that. There's some things that, secret. There's some new things on the way this year that I'm going to add in depending on the subscriber count. There's going to be some couple milestones with a couple like rewards for the people. Yeah. But you have to figure out what you like. I like games and I like writing. So I'm going to have some games, I'm going to have some milestones and add some things and add some rewards, because that's the way I would like to do it. If you are just more of like a technical nonfiction writer, then maybe you have a different way to look at it. Maybe you are just output and you're like, okay, this 100 outputs equals to 100 this, whatever. You have to figure that out by yourself. But do not add the pressure of a mission to a book. The same way you do not add the pressure of a kid straight away to go to law school. You want the kid to be happy. You want the kid to be healthy. You want the kid to be with you and to understand you and all of these things. And then, yes, great. Obviously, you want it to do well. You want it to be good. You want it to blossom in the world. But if you are the parent that is looking at their kid and is like, you must go to law school. I don't care about you until you go to law school. If that's the way you are approaching writing a book, you must be a bestseller and you must be like the most enlightening book to everyone. The book's not going to do anything. This kid is going to be depressed and not going to do anything, and the book neither. So you have to do an outline. If you are not writing continually through a 3-month period if you do not have that time. And even if you do, it's good to have an outline just to look back on what you meant. An outline is a suggestion. It is not like a jail cell. If you want to change, if you want a plot twist, I think the best plot twists are the one that even the writer did not expect. But it's good to have something to fall back on. Okay, I gotta wrap it up because I'm sure I'm gonna have my phone ringing any second now. If you want a part 2, let me know. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also check out the art course, and of course all of my 3 books in the description.